Just check out the part 1 and then go to the next part afterwards. And if that happens to be this part, then you're in the right place. And keep listening for the rest of the episode.
Thank you very much.
See you on the other side.
I'm connecting to the internet.
Internet.
Networking software.
World Wide Web thing on a computer today.
Computer. NetSurfer Pro.
The next one's sort of a break in the continuity. I feel like Until the End is the end of Arc 1. It is the second to last from their first album, with the next one being the last in their first album, but this one is kind of unique because it does not have a clear version of Nira. This is Dear Mr. F, which is sort of a very quiet piano sort of song. The lyrics are kind of Romeo and Juliet-ish, two people who want to meet but societally are unable to do so. The music video follows a monster-looking character, again, not like a creepy monster, but like a small blob almost, wandering alone until it meets an angel, and they try to stay with each other, but the monster is unable to do so. Later on, the angel visits the monster, who is in like a scientific tube, like a Mewtwo tube,
Yeah.
Those tubes.
Those tubes that are always in, sci-fi things, and they hold like a monster.
Yeah. The angel breaks the monster out, but it's revealed that the monster was dying. And the monster falls apart into dust in the angel's arms, which brings us to the Thanos arc. No, yeah. It's a quiet one. It's very cute. The music video is by Sutore, I believe. And then it has like even more of a painterly look than before, than any of like Kawasemi's videos.
Yeah.
It's short, it's sweet. It's the last one from their first album.
Yeah. I think there's some thematic parallels in that, like, when the monster dies, there's like an arrow through the angel.
Yeah.
And when the monster dies, the arrow also kind of like disintegrates away.
Right.
So like it could, it could be another song sort of about like, breaking up because you're two different people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I would probably rank it just sort of generally lowest in terms of my own personal taste. But it is still, that does not mean it is a bad song. It is still a very good song. The fact that it is the lowest on my personal list means that Zutomayo is extremely good.
Yeah. So their next video is the first one I saw by them. And it is a real banger of a video.
Yeah, it is the first one in a while that hits like a big view count.
Mm-hmm.
It's like jumps up to 44 million views after like the the like sort of single digit millions that a lot of the other ones have been getting.
I think this was more viral in the West. I will say as much.
Yeah.
So this one is Study Me, the first single off their second album, Gusare, which came out this year. Study Me is so the lyrics are somebody wanting to like express themselves, but being unable to say it directly, and so instead they convey it using song. The lyrics are very meta. There's like, if my emotions could change the song's music, and then like, it's a textbook case of my emotions, study me and solve me for yourself. Basically saying like, no, you have to earn your interpretation of the lyrics. I can't just tell you what I mean. You have to interpret the meaning. The song has a very funky bass line. I love me some slap bass. This song has incredible slap bass playing. It's really funky, which is fitting because the lyrics say funky during the chorus.
At one point it goes funky fresh beats.
Yeah. The music video is also very meta. It is made by Kung Fu Piggy and Yotube. Kung Fu Piggy being like a character designer who has some fantastic artwork on Twitter.
Yes, this is this one and the other one that she I think,
I don't know,
the other one that they worked on, which is I think a couple songs from now, is like my favorite music videos.
Mm-hmm.
And like it is so visually like it is purple and pink and like extremely, again, analog looking.
Kung Fu Piggy's videos Kung Fu Piggy's Niras have a purplish, pinkish hair. So this one is, it's about like movies. Nira is a background character.
Yeah,
There's specifically more VHS imagery, which has that analog element. It almost feels lower, like, it almost feels like it has a grain to it in a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love specifically, there's kind of a fun fake out at the very beginning where, like, you see someone who has that exact same hair and, like, cat ears running through a city with a like, you know, hunk of meat in her mouth in a very, you know, Japanese I'm late for anime school manner. Mm-hmm. But then, like, it backs up, it, like, reverses and then shows the actual Nira in the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is a very fun fake out.
Complete with, like, a red circle. And then it after that, it pans through a couple other shots of, like, her in the background of a scene with a red arrow pointing to her. It's like a clickbait joke.
Yeah.
Like, top 10 Easter eggs you missed in Ready Player One. Number 1, Nira is in this scene. She's next to the shark. She's about to get eaten by the shark. It's that. It's so good. It's genius.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it the first time around that it was specifically a clickbait joke. Showing that she is just, like, a background character in this world, but she wants more. There's a great bit of, like, she is, like, an actress dressing up to get punched in the face by a kung fu fighter in a kung fu movie, but she gets mad and she fights back. And then in every other scene, she turns the tables. Instead of getting bitten by the bitten by the shark, she bites the shark. There's, like, a giant kaiju hand, and she summons a giant uniguri out of a Pokeball. There is an Undertale parody, like an actual Undertale parody.
Yeah.
The Undertale UI has a bunch of references to other Zutomayo videos, but she summons friends to help her fight, and the friends are all the previous Guardians, except one that has not appeared yet canonically, which is the desk lamp, the Pixar lamp.
Yeah.
But it also has, like, Burgerpants, the Raven Man, the Demon from Justice. I think it has Clockface. Yeah, I think it has the suit guy as well. So yeah, she kind of tries to turn the tables. In the city scene, she tries to grab the Catgirl's hand to help her up. But when she does so, she gets kicked out into this, like, glitchy void full of TVs.
Yeah. There's a moment where, like everything sort of resets, and she like goes through parts of the original video, but then, like, sort of, like, has that, you know, like, look at her hand, like, wait, I've been here before.
Yeah.
Moment.
I love, during that part where it resets, it's cutting to different, like, versions of her in the video, and then it cuts to her in the outfit of Space Nita from Until the End, with the destroyed planet in the background, with the same, like, Shinji breakdown face.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second time she does realize she's in a loop and has another mental breakdown, a Shinji breakdown. There's a fun, like, fast forward thing in the background that shows scenes from other music videos as well. And this time, the second loop, she puts on a cap, and when she gets kicked into that abyss, she starts running and, like, making a break for it. She almost dies, getting crushed by some creepy hands, but she survives and gets to the, like, edge of the abyss, where there is a giant CRT that she kind of bangs against. Sadly, she is unable to escape. Or is she? Because the last shot is, like, a shadowy silhouette of her. You can just see her eyes, and, like, it's the CRTs again, but it kind of looks like it's the other side of them. So it's like, ooh, is Study Me Nita real? Ooh.
Holy shit, Fortnite real?
No, Study Me is a fantastic music video. It's really good self-contained, even if you don't look at the like, you know, references to the previous ones. There's a bit where she's, like, falling through the abyss, and it shows, like, production artwork, like the character model sheets, which is really cool. I just love the, like, meta aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, the whole arc of that. Really colorful as well. Has sort of a synthwave colors palette. After Study Me is Milabo, the fourth Waboku video, which is also the cool anime fight scene one.
Yeah.
And I think it has the best expressions in any music video.
I also want to give special mention to, this is the one. The first, like, 10 seconds the Guardian character, who's like...
Oh, yeah, we have to talk about this.
Okay, so the Guardian character is a darkened skinned man with an afro and thicker lips.
It's the anime blackface, which sucks, and I hate it. It's like the one bad thing about all these music videos.
Yeah, so like it. Again, we are not at liberty to say this is. We're not at liberty to cancel Zutomayo, but like, yes, the unfortunate history is that, you know, a lot of like black people in Japanese media were inspired by blackface art,
and it's just sort of become a trope, or a convention, without them really understanding the consequences. I think, nowadays they really should, but I think it's something where unless more Japanese speakers bring this up, it's not going to change.
Yeah, there are good examples where like there's been a lot of changes. Not to bring up JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but in part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the anime has much better black representation than the manga, because in the manga it is very much that style.
Yeah.
Basically because the artist didn't realize that was racist.
Yeah. I think Usopp is the same way.
Yeah. I will say that at the very least, I do not think that the intent was anything racist.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again, I'm not at liberty to say that makes it even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say that I kind of love, aside from the racial elements, I love the design of the Guardian.
He does.
He is very funky in a very fun way.
He has these heart glasses, which is fantastic. That's what I have his nickname is Heart Glasses.
Yeah.
I love this Nira just because her expressions in this are, well, both of them have great expressions. So what happens in this is Uniguri is a ghost who comes out of like a jar, like an urn, and turns into a demon. This time a spooky demon, but not scary to look at, just an evil demon. But like when he first comes out of the jar, like Nira falls back and is completely flabbergasted, and then Heart Glasses looks over like, huh? Okay, cool. Wait, what? And does like a spit take where his glasses break.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really wild. The story is like Uniguri made a deal with Heart Glasses that if he dies, Heart Glasses has to exorcise him if the demon ever comes out. Interestingly, during this, the engine, the like furnace looking thing from Until the End comes back and gets blown up by Heart Glasses and Nira. Almost seems like, again, trying to cut off old ties. They do a fight scene where Nira tries to remind Uniguri of who he really is, and Uniguri does not respond. So he punches Nira. She goes flying back, but is okay. You know, pretty durable. But in the end, Heart Glasses has to sacrifice himself to seal away the Uniguri demon. Once again, Uniguri is back to normal, but at what cost?
That's actually a good... that actually kind of makes me think, in the previous video, was there even a Guardian character?
In Study Me?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
There was just they like return in the Undertale fight, but there wasn't a actual Guardian per se.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think by now it starts to get a little looser. I mean, even then, stuff like Such a Disturbance didn't really have a Guardian either.
Yeah.
Humanoid only kind of did, though she never interacted with Burgerpants. Burgerpants just kind of gained that status posthumously, or because he was the only, like, unique character there. But so, in Milabo, I do really want to mention that when Heart Glasses does like a cool, powerful spell, power super move, it is in the form of a clock that like ticks forward a few times and then explodes. Which I think again is like the clock is having to move on.
Yeah.
That like he is going away, and so Nira has to literally just keep going, much like the March of Time itself. And the hands moving directly is that sort of reason. Yeah, it other than the one part, it's a good video, but it's kind of hard to watch it sometimes because of that.
Yeah. I do really love the beginning when he is just fucking jamming out though.
Yeah.
It's a very good it would be a very good Discord avatar if it wasn't for the racial connotations.
Yeah. The next song is Fastening, aka Teiketsu Bolt. There's a few songs that, like, the English-speaking community still uses the Japanese name for. Until the End is actually one that I hear the Japanese name being used a lot. This is another one. I just think it's interesting because the English name and the Japanese name are kind of different. I mean, the Japanese name has Bolt in it. This is the Subtitles one.
Yeah, I cannot tell you a single goddamn thing about the video, because every time I watch the video, so whoever did these subtitles for this one went above and beyond to make it like that, like very artsy subtitles.
Yeah, I didn't even know YouTube subtitles could be this good.
Right?
But they're YouTube subtitles. It's not part of the video. They do look kind of like fan translations for fan subs for anime. But yeah, they have like effects where they move around and they change color and stuff to match the music video. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
It does distract though. I recommend watching this twice, once with them on and once with them not on.
Like I listen to just the music at work quite a bit. So that I could have opinions over the actual music. And, like, when this came on, I literally was like, is this part of this? Because I do not remember this song. And then I looked at it and was like, oh, it's the Subtitles one. Mm-hmm. That is how much the subtitles fucking distracted me.
Yeah. So the lyrics are about somebody growing from their losses. At first, they kind of do this negatively, taking it as, like, building a hatred. But later they turn it into more of a healthy learning moment, learning exercise or whatever. This is the third Kawasemi video, and so it has references to previous Kawasemi videos mainly. Like the devil cat from Justice forms like a door at one point that Nira walks out of. This is kind of interesting. The Guardian is Shadow Nita. As in like, so Nita has the Kawasemi look in sort of almost a Mickey Mouse outfit. Very prominent like buttons on the shirt. And Nita carries around a shovel, but is also, at the start, attacked by, like, her reflection, which is in, like, a very shadowy, sort of persona-ish form.
Yeah.
But then, as it progresses, like, at first she seems to be running from the Shadow Nita, but then she joins forces with it as it, like, tries to drag her around, and then it actually helps her escape the situation she's in. And then finally, it turns just into another Nita. It's sort of, I think that is sort of her experience of, like, losing, I guess. It's, like, this dark part of her that she wants to initially run from, but instead she is able to turn it into a healthier sort of, mechanism, I guess. She has a better relationship with that sort of darker side. Here's the thing. She stabbed Stamphead. She kills Stamphead.
Stamphead is dead. Long live Stamphead.
Mm-hmm. He got licked. So, I view this as her, like, trying so hard to forget Stamphead that she kills the idea of him. But, like, she is visibly shaken by this in the video. And it like, I think that's sort of what I mean by, like, an unhealthy way of, growing from the past versus the healthy way of growing from the past. The unhealthy way is her by herself trying to kill Stamphead. The healthy way is her leaving the room she's in. This is the first introduction of the Doctor.
Yeah, it's a like sort of Dr. Wily looking ass, or like
what's
the old guy from Dragon Ball.
It's the Doctor from Astro Boy. Dr. Tenma is sort of the like origin of this trope, I think, of the good doctor. You've also got Dr. Light, but then there's the bad doctor, like Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
I think this is more of the bad doctor. He seems to be engaged in like a game with Nira and is like testing her. But at another part, he uses like a film projector to watch something. It almost seems like he's taking it as like amusement rather than trying to help her.
Yeah.
Nita starts out like asleep, but then with the help of the Shadow Nita, she's able to wake up and escape. At the end.
Shadow Monster Nira.
Yeah, she turned to the right. Yeah, so there, for one thing, I just like this video. It's kind of fun. The subtitles are good. There is an interesting moment here, which is the cheese moment.
Yes, go on.
So she takes a slice of cheese, like your generic Swiss cheese slice, and crushes it in her hands, which makes blue liquid come out. and then a red fork cuts through it, which of course means that the Batter Witch is about to invade Zutomayo-verse. But no, the red liquid, as we've said before, is sort of like that emotional honesty. That's sort of my reading of it. And that is also the point where she starts to be more in tune and accepting of that Shadow Nita. But the cheese, here's the fun thing. Until the end, it is shown that cheese is the fuel for Uniguri's spacecraft. That's the only other time where cheese appears. And it's also that generic Swiss cheese slice.
God.
So, yeah, think about that one for a moment. You think these aren't all connected? How can you say that now?
This cheese is what helps close the time loop.
This cheese is what all true warriors strive for. Yeah, I thought that was a fun detail.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Next we've got Ham, which is a music video by Goru, or Gol. The lyrics are kind of a simple, I want to be with you, but can't muster the courage or anything like that. The video is a direct sequel to Dear Mr. F, but it might not be obvious at first, because it has a very pleasant art style of Nita in like her apartment, looking through like a book of poisonous flowers, or medical flowers, medicinal herbs. But then it goes to a flashback of her as a kid, and she is pulled away from a science tube by the doctor, as from the previous video. And inside the tube is a guy with like some sort of sickness. It seems like she was looking for some sort of cure for whatever illness the guy had. And eventually she like breaks into that same lab room and is like trying so she breaks into the lab room, and the Raven Man and the doctor are both trying to stop her, but she's able to push through them. I think the Raven Man kind of almost gives up, it seems like, and she finally comes face to face with the guy who is sick, and he leaves with like the tube broken. This is super cool in retrospect, because it means the character we were following for most of Dear Mr. F was not Nita, it was this other guy.
Yeah.
The monster was the guy. He stood on a block of ice. But yeah, so this is again a reappearance of Raven Man. He seemed like he was trying to stop Nita from reaching this kid. The doctor certainly was. But in the end, he just kind of turned into a bird and flied away. It almost seems like he was waiting for the right moment to let Nita through. Or, you know, I don't know. Maybe because he was the one who was trying to stop Nita, he was able to throw.
Yeah.
Because if the doctor was doing it, then he wouldn't let her pass at all.
I think that the Raven Man is effectively a neutral entity who's like, he will give Nita the opportunity to be a better person, but he won't be the one to make her a better person. He provides the tools, but Nita has to be the one to make the decision herself. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah.
This is actually, though, complicated, I think, by the next music video, which is one of my favorites, which is Hunch Gray. This is sort of the sequel to Ham, so it's the third in the trilogy here. So the song was the theme song for a like mystery visual novel, and the music video has some ARG-like puzzles for that cross-promotion. There is a QR code that you can scan, and it links to a like ASCII file that can then be turned into a image, and the image is like this really rough like CCTV image of like a hangar. The hangar is just from the background of the visual novel. There's also binary shown on a building, but I didn't bother with that. So she meets up with a boy who is presumably Gray, as the fans have called him. As a kid, the two get compasses that point to each other, and later on in her adult life, the compass points Nita directly to the building of one Haibon Electronics. Haibon Electronics is a company that appears in a lot of Zutomayo videos. I don't have every appearance of them, but they're pretty notable as being like a kind of evil company. You know, they're your Wayland, your Umbrella, evil company.
Yeah.
She breaks into Haibon Electronics with like a truck and a cannon. She busts down the door, she does like a little dance, and then also like bonks somebody on the head. She is one of the most capable Niras for sure.
Yeah, she as a physical person might not be particularly powerful, but she has the like Batman's like, well, I was about to say Batman's scrappiness.
She has prep time.
Yeah.
She has an arsenal. She has a truck that she drives with Uniguri. It's great.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love it. She does it along with the music too. And she kind of has headphones in, almost as if she was listening to the song.
Baby Nira.
Yeah, so she breaks in, she makes her way to the top, where she meets a guy in a bird mask, presumably Raven Man, though it is more mask-like than the Raven Man's previous forms, so it's hard to say whether he really is the Raven Man or a fake man. In the skyscraper, Gray was in like a padded room, and in the padded room we see those desk lamps from Study Me. The like desk lamp dude in Study Me in that one scene, it finally appears here. A similar desk lamp was in the video for Fastening, but not quite the same lamp. Gray is brought out to meet Nira, where Nira flashes back to their childhood, where Gray was shot by this guy in the Raven mask, and Gray got like a monster disease, very Coheed and Cambria. But then Gray turns into a monster in real time, but is snapped back to reality by Nira hugging him. When that happens, Nira frees them with a cannon shot, and a helicopter lifts them off to safety, presumably being piloted by Uniguri, because the helicopter has Uniguri on it. And it's very cute. She kisses Gray. They live happily ever after.
Until the next video.
Well, so I was just gonna say, there's really cute imagery of when they're finally with each other, the compasses spin out.
Yeah.
It's really cute. Also, yeah, so, I was gonna say, the Raven Man being fake. There's sort of a thing here, I don't know if it's the real Raven Man, just because it looks like a mask more so than, like I said, his other appearances.
Yeah.
Where he can directly turn into a raven. Granted, in Such a Disturbance, he kind of had like a plague doctor look. But the thing is, it seems evil that he would hold Gray in like a padded cell, but I almost wonder if Gray was being kept alive here, and he was brought out when Nira came to save him as basically just allowing Nira to save him at all.
Yeah.
He turned into a monster, but Nira was able to get him out of that state. Maybe that was the whole point, that Gray could only leave once he was able to control that monstrous state, I guess?
Yeah, like I think that's a good reading. If I were to sort of use the idea of like he's someone who, you know, allows for change, like brings in the opportunity for change, maybe it could be like if he is a false raven, maybe it could be like a symbol of like, you know, the evil corporation, like sort of has like, you know, the false idea that you can do change within it, but the only real change that will come about is by Nira like doing it herself.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's basically you can't change the hierarchy within the hierarchy, maybe.
Yeah. Her tech, she uses like a modded Game Boy to control the like machines and stuff. It has a very, like I said, a modder sort of aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Almost as if she is kind of operating outside of the intended purpose for these electronics.
The video is really all about how pirating games is good.
Yeah. So the next video is Can't Be Right, which is the one not on YouTube.
Yes.
It's 3D. I kind of hate it. I don't think the 3D looks great. So it has a Hitman Nita, who a Shadow Uniguri gives her hit targets that look like smash invites. I say Shadow Uniguri because he's like noticeably darker than all the previous ones. And I don't think it's a lighting thing. I think it's literally just the texture for the skin, the hedgehog skin. You know.
Yeah.
She's chased by the Guardian for this, who may be Gray, because there's some ambiguity to it, but it's kind of implied that this is like a version of Gray that was childhood friends with her, but they drifted apart for some reason, and now the Guardian's trying to stop her from doing hits.
This is the one that looks like your Vivi or your, you know, your Black Mage looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that sort of style. The Guardian uses a shovel, which, kind of like fascinating. But what is kind of cool is that there is a shot where he's holding it at an angle that makes it kind of look like Heart Glass's pipe.
Yeah.
So the reason I think this isn't on YouTube is because this was made as a theme song for the live-action The Promised Neverland movie. And so I think there's a rights deal.
Yeah.
A rights thing. It's a rights thing, That's what I'm thinking. That's just hearsay.
Which, thankfully, as the previous video has told us, it is okay to pirate things.
Yes.
I very briefly want to mention that Akane's name, like you said, is ACA and then Ne, but the character looks very much like a bee sometimes, how it's stylized, so it sometimes looks very much like ACAB. I just think that's pretty cool.
Alright, let's go to the next one. This is the sad one that made me cry.
Yeah.
Not even joking. It's the return of Kung Fu Piggy as the character designer, and this is Darken.
Yeah, Darken, I would genuinely say, is taking out every bit of context. If you just watched Darken, it is a perfectly good time. Mm-hmm. Which is to say, it's a very sad video.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good.
So a little demon girl baby is found in sort of an abandoned ruins of a city, and she is raised by robots. The robots, one of which is Nita in a maid outfit, so the fans call her Nita Maid. I think that might be her official name by the character designer. Also, the demon girl's name is Nanashi, again by the character designer. The robots take her, after some growing pains, the robots shoot a deer and she learns how to hunt, and then they take her to an amusement park that's an abandoned amusement park, and right as the lights come on, a missile is launched from a floating triangle above the amusement park. It comes down, crashes into an invisible barrier, but it deactivates the robots. The demon girl is distraught for quite a while because suddenly the robots stopped moving. It's very sad.
Yeah.
But eventually she's able to muster the strength to leave and try to survive, and she breaks out of that city to kind of see the world beyond, which is covered in snow. It's very heart-wrenching. The very end is the two robots, one of which looks like an Xbox Series X.
I think you're thinking of the Xbox Series S, actually.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Xbox fridge. Looks like the Xbox fridge. The other one's Nita made, and they're Nanashi had moved them, so they were kind of leaning on each other, and now they're rusted and covered in moss. It has a nice, overgrown post-apocalyptic style, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, it's very, Last of Us looking of the man-made stuff has been destroyed, but that just leaves room for nature to regrow.
Or that one adventure game that was Journey to the West, but in post-apocalyptic world for the PS3.
I know which one you're talking about, but I just do not remember what it's called.
Yeah, it might be just Journey to the West? It's not Journey, that's the sand one. There's 2 points of contention here that I think are really interesting. This video is one of the most discussed. So here's one. When Nita Maid is feeding Nanashi with a bottle, this triangle sequence appears. So some people think that this is Nita learning of the plan to launch the missile. That the missile launch was already planned years in advance. And she only brought Nanashi to the theme park so that she could try to give her one last good memory before she was shut off by this missile.
Yeah.
Though I've heard other people interpret this as a glitch in the system, that this is Nita Maid learning human emotions and learning to love rather than just taking care of the baby for survival's sake.
Yeah.
I'm more leaning towards that latter one because, I don't know if her expression really changes, but it definitely makes sense for why she would do something like that. And also, the other part of the second interpretation is that the missile only launched when the lights were turned on in the amusement park, because then they were visible from space. That there was something there.
Oh.
It seems like the city they're in is a quarantine zone almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also I feel like if Nita really wanted to give Nanashi a good moment, they would get leaves before the missile would fall. Because if she knew when the missile would fall, even if she only knew the day or the month, just go a month beforehand. You pick the worst timing. You're like, oh, I gotta give her this amusement park gift before I die. All right, it's the day of.
Oh, listen.
It's like, finally, we convinced Softon to take us to the beach. School starts tomorrow.
Listen, I'm gonna be real. That's pretty relatable to me.
Sure.
If I were a robot maid, I absolutely would be like, oh, mission's gonna drop in like a month. I've got time.
Yeah, you procrastinate.
Oh shit! Oh shit! That's today.
Quick, hop on my synthwave bike. It's very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good music video. The other point of contention. So we mentioned Nira-Nanashi, but this is sort of a thing with the Zutomayo canon. So Nira-Maid is obviously Nira, right? She has the same look as the Study Me version. She's called that way. She's, it's obviously Nira, right?
But she has the role.
Yeah, so she has the role of a guardian, and in every music video, Nira is the one learning a lesson. Except here, Nanashi learns the lesson. So, thematically, Nanashi is more of a Nira than Nira-Maid. But, design-wise, she's not. Yeah, this has bothered me for a while.
Yeah. I also think that a part of why, like, what could give credibility to Nira-Maid is not Nira is that, like, in the previous video by this animator, like, the first shot is a fake out of who Nira is.
Yeah, there is the cat Nira, which is not Nira. It's a cat girl.
But then complicating that further is that the animator, whose name I definitely remember,
Kung Fu Piggy.
Yeah, Kung Fu Piggy. Like, a lot of the art that they do, sort of like on their own Twitter, is like of Cat Nira and the Oni girl.
Nanashi.
Yeah, Nanashi.
Yeah.
So, like, the two that she does, or they do, art of, is the ones that aren't Nira, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It's I hate it. I love it, but yeah, it's such an interesting thing, because, like, for the most part, there are these consistent symbols, Nira being one of them, that you can use to interpret the meaning of the song in the video in a consistent way. When the Raven Man shows up, it means this, or, the Raven Man generally acts according to this. Gray usually represents this. But here we have a big twist on the situation.
I feel like that also kind of adds to why this is probably the most watchable out of context, too.
Yeah.
Of, like, it is very confusing looking at it in canon, which kind of makes it a very good standalone.
Mm-hmm. I do have a really, really dumb lore theory about this, but I don't really care to bring it up in this episode, because it involves a music video I don't think we'll be talking about. And it also is a dumb lore theory, and I feel like it's not as relevant.
A dumb lore theory being adult, of course, as opposed to a dime, which is a digital interactive media extrapolation.
Yeah. Dumb old lore theory. So yeah, that's Darken. It's very sad. There are two more that they did before the release of their second album. The next one is One's Mind, which is the furry one. Music video by Shino.
Yeah, it follows these two, like, it follows Unigiri and Uniguri? Uniguri. Mm-hmm. It's like onigiri, but uniguri.
Yeah.
It follows Uniguri and the guardian character, who is this, like, dog that with a gun.
It's a furry dog with a gun.
It's a furry dog with a gun.
Put him in Rivals of Aether.
You've heard of Rouse with a gun, now get ready for a dog with a gun.
Dog with a blog. His rival cat with a gat.
His like forward special is that, like, a pop-up pops up briefly.
I love that he gives a cigarette to Uniguri, who takes it and smokes it. With this, like, old man face. Like, it's been one of those days, am I right?
Oh my god.
Another day of camping in the post-apocalypse. There's a lot of post-apocalyptic settings for these videos.
But so yeah, they find a, like, bird girl who is Nira in this instance, I believe. And, like, they seem to be traveling place to place and killing people.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but they don't kill her. They like bring...
Right. So she's like a werebird girl.
Yeah.
It's like whenever she's not in the campfire that they've set up, she turns into a bird girl, and the dog shoots her down but doesn't kill her, it just prevents her from flying away. Except the sort of music video is like, you know, she escapes while the rest of them are sleeping, she flies off, and then this time the dog doesn't shoot her down, he lets her fly. The lyrics for this one are kind of one of the ones I couldn't really figure out exactly. But the video I feel like is kind of apparent. Other than the whole, like, the actual setting and the backstory behind it, I feel like the idea of, you know, letting somebody spread their wings and leave, that's a kind of common theme in music.
Yeah.
You know, Nelly Furtado did it.
It would also be the first time that the Guardian was like a guardian.
Yeah.
A parent or guardian.
I mean, Clockhead has sort of that feel.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's furry. There is a really cool shot of every previous Nita as an angel. And I mean every previous Nita. You just forgot that part?
I forgot that part, and also that ties in with the next video in a really interesting way.
Yeah, it also does confirm that the Dear Mr. F character, the angel in Dear Mr. F is Nita, because that angel appears, but not the monster. So we just have a double confirmation on that now.
Yeah.
I think
Wait, does Robot Reindeer appear?
I think so? Which even makes it more confusing. I'd have to go back and check.
Shit. Anyway.
Yeah. So, the next one is Kansai de Kuyashiwa. This song is off the first album. It's the end of Arc 2, as I'd call it. One's Mine was the last music video for their second album. This one was made as a celebration for breaking 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I believe that was the amount. It was definitely a celebration for something like that. It's the return of Sakiyama for their 5th video, I believe. And there's a lot here.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, I say it's the end of Arc 2, but this kind of ties in with every previous video and a lot of the sort of things that were set up by previous videos. So we have a new Sakiyama Nita who has white hair and a cool blue like dress on.
She looks like Margaret from Persona 4.
Yeah. She wakes up in an alley and follows her phone, which has like some sort of, app on it. She sees like a remnant of the Such a Disturbance Nita across the street and gets spooked by it. But as she turns away, she bumps into Gray, who seems to be doing well for himself. She winds up in a cafe where she sees the Raven Man working the counter. The Raven Man brings her spaghetti. Interestingly, in Humanoid, there are 2 food dishes that flash on the screen. One of them was one of the last items given to her in Radiant DNA, and the second one was spaghetti. So good job Sakiyama for the continuity there.
Hey, listen, if we say good job Sakiyama for the continuity there, for every continuity there's going to be.
Yeah. So she's given a pair of Hybon Electronics glasses and is coerced into wearing them. When she puts them on, she is able to multi-dimensionally travel. And she proceeds to mess with every single music video. I have a complete list of everything she does.
Here's the list of everything that this Nita fucks up.
Yeah. She breaks Humanoid Nita's screen early, forcing her to quit the FPS. She then stops the hand from crushing the entrance to Humanoid Nita's apartment, letting her return to that life of sort of solitude. She blows up the Ferris wheel from Cracker. She cuts the phone cord from Justice. She fights the monster for Such a Disturbance as Nita. Uniguri is also there with the light bulb, just shocked. So she does save Uniguri in that universe. She guns down the demon Uniguri from Milabo, leaving Heart Glasses alive. She stops Radiant DNA Nita from breaking the monitors, then fills her cooking food bowl with spicy peppers. It's literally like, it just says death on the wrapper. It almost looked like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
This could be a reference to the fact that Japanese people haven't had anything spicy in 30 years.
Today on Hot Ones, I've got the star of the Zutomayo music videos, Nita. Now, Nita, how are you doing? Time for the last dab. Nita, we took some posts from your Twitter account. This Kuyoshiwa Nita has a Twitter that's shown, and it's a real Twitter. Let's see. Yeah, she breaks the blanket Nita's TV, so she can't watch the piano tapes anymore. Piano tapes being my new analog horror series. She takes away Angel Nita's arrow. She pulls out the doctor's hair, which is the best thing she does. She clogs up until the end Nita's monitors. She catches Fastening Nita before she falls off the skyscraper. She ruins the Hunch Gray kids' compasses. Both of them. She just holds a magnet over them.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
She rips up Can't Be Right Nita's hit letter, so she'll never get into Smash. She kills the deer instead of Nita made, which presumably takes away that learning moment, that teachable moment from Nanashi. She puts out the campfire from one's mind. And then finally, she breaks the giant TV from Study Me, preventing Study Me Nira from ever leaving. So each action that Kansai de Kuyoshiwa Nira does reverses or stops the Nira from reaching their own catharsis in that video.
Yeah.
Some of them, it directly stops the video from happening, like for Hunch Gray. But some of them, like for example, cutting the phone cord from Justice means that Justice Nita can't come to her own sort of realization about their relationship, and is instead forcibly ejected from speaking to the person.
Yeah.
From speaking to Stamphead. Or by catching Fastening Nita, she prevents Fastening Nita from ever coming face-to-face with Shadow Nita. You know, stuff like that, where it's not necessarily a complete, like, fucking everything up, but it does prevent the Nita in that from growing. Except Darkin! This is the next point. That Nita maid isn't affected by the deer not getting killed by her, but Nanashi would, because Nanashi was so excited about getting the deer shot, and she copies that like movement and action later on to hunt for herself. The person who is affected by Kansai de Kuyoshiwa Nira in Darkin is Nanashi. Also, I just want to note that there are a total of 3 events that happen to the humanoid radiant DNA duology Nita, which means that there are 3 separate timelines, I guess 4, within that universe. So here's the Nita multiverse theory, okay? we're gonna go full MatPat here. I'm fucking putting the hammer down. So, as shown by Study Me, every Nita is in its own universe, with the Nita-chan being similar to the other Nitas, but not quite, but similar. They might have, like, flashes of being the other Nitas, but ultimately, for the most part, they are different people. The main exceptions are Bite the Second Hand and Space Nita, where Space Nita is a facade Bite the Second Hand Nita puts on, and of course, Humanoid Radiant DNA, which we've discussed.
Yeah.
But yeah, by breaking the monitors, stopping the hand, and preventing Nita from breaking the monitors, she creates separate timelines based on those splitting, as well as the base timeline, the alpha timeline, where all of those happened. So catch my timeline chart for Zutomayo.
So there's the one where Nita succeeds and stays an adult. There's the one where Nita succeeds and then goes back to as a child with Saria, and then the timeline where Nita dies.
Yeah, actually, no, wait. I think when she stops Radiant DNA Nita from breaking the monitors, it cuts and the monitors are already broken. So maybe that's already the timeline where she forcibly breaks Humanoid Nita's monitors.
Yeah.
I think that's what I realized. But the hand thing, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. That's a whole other hand.
Yeah, that's a whole hand. She's paid a ton of money for this job, by the way. And she kind of realizes that the shadow people from Humanoid were actually... they set her up and dragged her into the situation, like shooting her and knocking her unconscious, then throwing her into the street. And she finally comes face to face with the person who's responsible for this, the leader of the Burgerpants Mafia. It is like literally just like a guy in like a full like Yakuza get up
with the fucking Burgerpants head.
Yeah, with all the other like copies of Burgerpants in the back. And the Yakuza guy, the leader of the Mafia, is like, "Hey, keep doing more acts or I'm gonna shoot ya." Under gunpoint, she's forced to do more horrible things, which fall into that list from before. She is so the Raven Man gives her like some raspberries with some flowers on them. She is about to eat them when Gray steps in, pulling off a Burger Pants mask to realize he was in that crowd the whole time. And he's like, "Nuh-uh, don't do this." And Nita's like, "I'm gonna do it." So she takes a raspberry, puts it in her mouth, spits it out in defiance, stands up on the counter, and kills all the Burger Pants. A disco ball shows up, which was briefly mentioned in Milabo, and then she shoves the plate of raspberries in Gray's face. She gets arrested because she killed all those Niras, and it shows, it cuts to, like, all the Guardians holding pictures of their Nitas in, like, that like, Japanese picture of the deceased style.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed all those Niras. They're dead now.
They're dead now. And Kansai Nita is also dead.
Yeah, the sort of like last scene is like she throws peace signs to the crowd, and then that's her picture for her death.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, so Raven Man talk.
Yeah. This is the big like hitch in the whole like Raven Man is not good or bad but neutral.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Raven Man doesn't give her the glasses. Raven Man just gives her food. The glasses are all presented by Burger Pants as property of Haiban Electronics. I think this is actually... the raspberries as well. Those are presented by Raven Man with the flowers. She spits out the raspberry. Okay, so let me back up a bit. Gray's role in this is weird. Because Gray, in most of the videos, is, like, the only other human character, and is, like, in a good relationship with Nita. Either they're in love, or they're friends, or something like that. Usually they're in love. And here they seem like exes that saw each other on the street.
Yeah.
It seems like this is, like, way after Hunch Gray, if we were to go by the Grayverse. By the way, that is actually also the other three that are in a row are... Mr. F, Ham, and Hunch Gray. Those are all the same universe, don't at me. But so, so, like, Gray was in the Burger Pants Mafia, so maybe he was trying to get her to do all those other hits, but he had a change of heart. It seems like he doesn't want her to eat the raspberry at the end, though. I almost wonder if the raspberry was a trap by the Raven Man.
Like...
Like, if you eat this, you will die. Ooh, eat the raspberry.
If you eat this, you'll die. If you don't eat this, you'll die, but with your dignity, I guess.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, Gray stops her from eating it, and she doesn't eat it, but she also throws it in Gray's face. I think it's like, how to put this? It almost seems like she wants to make the decision herself, and she didn't need Gray to tell her that, but... she, like, and so her, like, throwing the plate in his face is like, eat this. This is what you get for, trying to get me to do things. Let me live my own life,
Yeah.
As far as Gray being in the Mafia, I think it's, like, him trying to get closer to Nita again. Or it could be him making sure she doesn't get killed by them. He's undercover.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like, the raspberries could be, like, the final initiation.
Maybe.
Or, like, now you're Burger Pants blood.
Yeah. I don't know. This is one where I don't quite have the answers for it. My head's not quite around it yet. Because it's so... I don't know. There's a lot that happens, and it's hard to keep track of. I almost wonder if just... Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
If anything, I think that my favorite thing is just that, like, this is, thanks for 100 million subs, all of the characters are dead.
Yeah.
It's like if fucking... It's like if, fucking the most popular show on television, like MASH, was like, thanks for, 100 episodes of wonderfulness. This next the 100th episode, nuke goes off, everyone's dead.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you were to make a long-running movie series based off classic fan-favorite characters, and in, like, the most grossing one, you kill off half the characters, and then in the next one right afterwards, you kill off the two most, like, popular characters.
So it's basically Star Wars.
No, I was saying Infinity War, but that works too. Yeah, so I will say one thing. I think Burger Pants is self-destructive habits. He appears in Humanoid, which is about being a shut-in, a self-destructive habit. And then he returns here, coercing Nita into killing other versions of herself. Literally self-destructive.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if Gray had his own self-destructive habits, but seeing the state Nita was putting herself into made him have a change of heart. And I think the Raven Man giving her those raspberries might have snapped her out of it. Like, maybe the raspberries' point of contention was nothing more than a distraction for her. Right?
Yeah, like, because it also has the flowers, which is, harkening back to the other Raven Man as Waiter video.
If crushing the flowers makes them the black icky liquid, then eating them would probably be bad, right?
Yeah.
Are they poison flowers? They're not blue seeds. And so maybe, that was poisoned with some like hemlock or something. And so, yeah, by not eating it, she saved herself. The eating the raspberry and spitting it out was a distraction to give her enough time to clock the Yakuza leader on the head with a pipe.
Also food. Food as sort of like a, cheap filler, I think. As sort of like, you do doing self-destruction in return for food, which, like, yes, necessary for survival, but, like, in this version...
she got money for that. She was paid thousands of uniguri bucks.
She was paid a whole lot of money, but what lured her in first was a free meal.
Sure.
So, like, it could be like, she does something shallow but self-destructive, which then is like, hey, this is rewarding, so I'm going to do it more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like we've kind of covered the bases of how Zutomayo repeatedly uses the same sort of symbols and characters. Obviously, it's not always completely 100% consistent, but the differences are interesting. They make you think.
Yeah.
So, like, it feels like for the most part, the animators reference their own works primarily, and then they also will reference the previous other animations sometimes. But there are consistencies between them that feel pre-planned. Especially, like, the blue soda in Cracker that then connects with Humanoid where it's mentioned in the lyrics. I don't know how much input the band has over the music videos. I'd be really curious to know if they have, like, an outline for, like, these have to be included, or we want this type of thing to happen, or this scene. It feels like there's a lot of continuity on purpose, but also they could just be... like, they encourage the animators to put in Easter eggs.
Yeah.
It's unique, though, for the continuity they include.
Yeah. These videos are, like, very fun in both, like, looking at them individually, and looking at the lyrics and sort of, going, this seems like it's talking about... breakup and separation, but also in terms of, like, the sort of lore hunty aspect, the arrows and red circles. It's
pretty fitting we talk about this, pretty close to our Halloween Spooky Month episode, which is all about lore hunting.
Yeah.
This fits really well into that niche.
Yeah.
There are other musicians that do this sort of continuity in music video style, like I mentioned Mystery Skulls earlier, but I think Zutomayo just has, like, a really interesting aspect of mixing just enough symbolism unique to the video and enough reoccurring motifs. I think it's also notable that depending on what video you start with, it might not be readily apparent that it's connected.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I say to start with the first one and watch them in order, because, like, you'll get that reveal, at that slower sort of reveal of, like, oh, wait, these are the same thing. That's that thing. That's that thing.
These are all connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I started with Study Me, but even then I didn't realize that was representing previous videos until I went back and watched them all. So yeah, it's a really cool experience. I say it's my second favorite anime because it kind of is.
I would definitely put Akane and Zutomayo, the band, as, like, a top tier. If we could interview them, that would be great.
Yeah. Probably never, though.
Yeah, definitely not going to happen. But, like, it can happen in my dreams. We'll hire a translator, damn it.
Yeah. So, since Kansai Dekuyashiwa, they have 2 music videos out, with a third one currently, like, announced. Coming out on the 3rd of December, I believe. The 2 music videos that they have out are for their third album. They are Inside Joke and Stay Foolish. And So, the only real thing that's, like, from the previous arc is that Gray seems to appear again in Stay Foolish, or at least a character in the same sort of position as Gray with gray hair, so it might be Gray. But there's not a lot of other continuity involved. They're very good music videos, and I still recommend, checking them out. Maybe soon we'll get more. It's hard to say how much will continue or not. I hope it does. I hope there's more, inside lore references, because I think that's cool. But the music videos are still good on their own.
Yeah.
I especially like Stay Foolish, which has, like, JPEG artifacting on purpose. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I've been listening to these songs just sort of, like, on repeat at work, and they are really, really good. Mm-hmm. Like, they are just very good music, like, alone.
Yeah.
So, like, if you do nothing else, I would recommend putting these on a playlist. But you should definitely be watching the videos as well.
I still also... This is just a complete side note, but in the manga Meet in Roboco, there's a character named Akane who looks suspiciously like the Kung Fu Piggy version of Nita. And it has been bothering me since I read the manga. I hope that's an intentional thing by the author, because the author does a lot of references anyways, but it's just, I can't get over it. Help me.
Oh, man.
This will probably be a two-parter.
Yeah, I was about to say, this looks like it's going to be a two-parter, so thank you for returning. Mm-hmm. If you've enjoyed this second half, we have other second halves.
Ooh, yeah.
And even some first halves.
Some no-halves. As in, it's one whole. It's one whole episode. We have a lot of episodes like that.
Yeah, a lot of our episodes are kind of just one episode. We really should be doing more, Peep 2022, when we do a 52-parter.
Yeah.
We're going to sit down, talk about something for just a week straight. So
that's what you mean. Like, we record it in a week straight.
Yeah, we record it in a week straight, and then we chop it up into 52 bits.
What are we, Ludwig? So yeah, thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at NetSurferPro. You can tweet us any recommendations. You can tweet us, your thoughts on whatever we talk about. You can give us, a like, comment, rating on whatever podcasting platform you use. Follow us there. You can also, on the Twitter account, I post little teasers for upcoming episodes. I wanted to use a raven for this one, but they don't have ravens. Again, they don't have great bird options on emojis. So, in the future, though, I'll probably have some good ones coming up.
Hopefully.
So keep an eye on that. Maybe you'll figure out what we're talking about beforehand.
Yeah, if you guess it and guess it correctly, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at MattCraigGaming, where I sometimes indirectly talk about what we're talking about next. I also stream on twitch.tv/twack. That's twitch.tv/TWAK. I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 1 p.m. Central Time to 3 or 4 p.m. Central. I've been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics recently, some Binding of Isaac, do Hitman every other Friday, which means the time this one comes out, it won't be this Friday. But the Friday afterwards would be Hitman. And players can use channel points to mess with me. And sometimes I do also kind of let slip what we're going to be covering on the podcast, on the stream. So yeah, follow me on there. Affiliates now get 5 subscriber emotes, so I've got some cool emotes coming in that you might appreciate.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate.
You can find me on TikTok and on Twitter at Galen Wilson. That's at GALENWILS0N. I post my hot takes and sometimes some funny videos and or videos of my cat. You can find me on YouTube at The Only Galen on YouTube, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/MachineGunVampire, which I'm trying to brand myself as.
Nice. Shoutouts to branding yourself. Ow. Ow. Ooh, ow. Ooh.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Oof.
Oof. Alright, if you excuse me, I have to go kill 20 alternate universe versions of myself. See ya!